All right, shall I go?
Yep.
Kia tau te Māori o ranga, kia tau te Māori o raro, paiheretia te turi wairua, paiheretia te turi tangata, hei pu arahi, I a tātou, I tēnei wā, kia tika te whakaaro, kia tika te kupu, te hei Māori ora.
Māori ora. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora tātou, no mai, haere mai. Welcome everybody, we're very glad to see the participants here already. Welcome to staff, welcome to all the community board members. We're missing one, but by the time we get to finish introductions, that person will probably have turned up. Can I start with introductions, please? And can I start with the Deputy Chair, what's his name? Lee. Hi, Lee.
You're Koto. Lee Sampson, I'm the Deputy Chair and I'm based in Cashmere.
Callum?
Kia ora, my name's Callum Ward. I'm a board member elected from Spreydon.
Kia?
Tato, Kilcare Leslie Aho, board member from Cashmere.
Excellent shirt, Kia. Looks gorgeous. Mel?
Kia ora, Melanie Kaika, Councillor for Spreydon.
And I'm Carolyn Potter, Chairperson of Waihoro, which is the collective word for Spreydon-Cashmere wards. And has Tim turned up yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, we'll see how he goes. Are there any declarations of interest?
I don't have a declaration of interest, but I do have a question, which is that if we're wanting to share the live stream for this video, how's that done? Do you know?
You can just email out the website of the board's YouTube channel, so I can flick that to you now if you want.
Awesome.
Callum?
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
If you could, sorry, Amy, if you could send it to everyone, it would be a useful thing to have.
Yep.
Okay.
Carolyn, just before you move on to declarations of interest, do you want to note any apologies and move and second that?
Well, he hasn't apologised yet. We may be looking at an absence. I'll come back to apologies if he turns up in the next 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Confirmation of previous minutes. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'm happy to move, Carolyn.
Thank you, Lee. Seconder?
I'm second.
Thanks, Callum. I was hoping it would be you. Are there any issues? Does anybody have any issues with the minutes? No, I read them and thought they were fine. All those in favour, please say aye. Against,
aye.
Abstentions, carried. Right, this is the beginning of public forum, so let's confirm an apology for Tim's absence and just see where he's at. Can I have a mover for the apology to be received? Thank you, Lee. Seconder? Mel? Thank you, Mel.
Yep,
all those in favour, please say aye. Against, abstentions, carried.
Aye.
Aye.
Public forum, and that's why because we can't interrupt people having the public forum when Tim does come, and he may well be absent for the meeting. Let's just see. The first person who's come, and can I just say how good it is to have people at the public forum? It's great to know that you're there, and it's great to know that you've got interesting things to say to the board. The first person up is Chloe Ballantyne, who wants to talk about a footbridge into Addington North. Chloe, I can see you on my list, I think. Are you there? Is Chloe?
Hello.
There?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I'm having all sorts of problems with my video though, so you won't be able to see me.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're probably more beautiful than us, so that's all to the good.
I had a beautiful slideshow too, so you probably, it's a real shame you won't be able to see that either. But shall I just go ahead and talk quickly?
Well, hang on a minute, Chloe. Is there any way that you could send it by email to, talk to me, Amy? Is there any?
Yeah. Yep. Chloe, if you want to send me an email with the PowerPoint, I can share it from my end, if you're able to do that.
That would be awesome. Shall I just talk next then after the next person? I'll send that through.
Yeah, actually, that may be the best way of dealing with it, Chloe. If you step back, and if you, not literally, of course, and you send that through, we'll call you up when Amy's got it and can share it. Is that all right with you?
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Finn, you're next up.
Hello. Should I turn my camera on?
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
Hello, Finn. It's so good to see you, and you look more like your old man. You just look a spitting image. Does Anzac look the same as you, or has he got a different haircut?
He's got much shorter hair. I think he cut it all off.
Right. So you can tell the difference between the two of you now.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's great to see you again, Finn. You're always welcome. It's so cool to see you. Would you like to go ahead?
Yep, sure. I actually looked it up, and it's 1 year minus 1 day since the last time I came and spoke to the board. Just
that's
kind of a
good
cool
thing.
fact. Yeah.
You can't come every day of the week because we'd get bored, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
I've also got a little PowerPoint which I'm just going to share. If I can work out how to share my screen.
There should be a button, the green button that says share screen.
I think I found it. Cool.
Oh, I've got that. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, great. Okay. So I'm here on behalf of Friends of Riverlaw Esplanade Reserve, which is a new reserve, a new reserve care group. It's based between St. Martin's and Riverlaw Terrace, just here in the red circle, which I, very artistically drew. We started to get together as a group in August. It's been delayed a little bit because of first the lockdown, then I was in Wellington over the summer, and then I got really sick. So yeah, we're just kicking into gear now, which is, fun. It's mainly made up of local residents. We're linked in with Spreydon-Cashmere-Heathcote River Network, the City Council Parks team, and potentially partnering with a local school. Yep, that's the reserves, as I said. They've got really snappy names. So my personal favourite is Local Purpose Reserve Water Retention St. Martin's. We just refer to them collectively as Riverlaw Esplanade Reserve for simplicity's sake.
Okay.
What it's like now, it's pretty uncared for besides basic maintenance. It's mainly grass, there's a shared path, a drain with a little wooden footbridge, and a stand of native trees, which is actually quite nice. So what we're planning is monthly working bees, just on the first Sunday of every month, initially focusing on the little area between the drain and St. Martin's Road. That's going to be weeding, planting, tidying, and we've got some longer term goals. So increasing the number of trees in the stand to create a tiny forest, planting flax and other low plants along the riverbank for stabilisation, a bench so that people can sit on it, obviously, and enjoy the view of the river. There's also a little bit of a slope here where people walk up to the footpath, so it might be better for people who have impaired mobility. And the other thing we're really planning is a bollard, and that's mainly just to stop people driving down and parking on the riverbank while they whitebait. We're also looking at approaching Mana Whenua to actually get a good name for the reserve. Riverlaw Esplanade Reserve is very much a temporary one. School we're partnering with is St. Mark's, and we just want to make sure that those students have a nice little connection to the natural environment nearby their school. And these blue circles are potential expansion areas. So, for example, the other side of the river, further along the bank, there's a big traffic island here, and there's another bit of the bank just here. And if we planted all that up with trees, it would be a really lovely area. And why I'm here, we're having our first event on probably May the 1st. That's yet to be entirely confirmed, but that's probably the first date. It's going to be a general cleanup, get to know each other. There's going to be a suggestion box so people can put their suggestions in for how to improve the little area, what they'd like to see. And I'm developing, whoops, don't know what happened there. I'm developing a poster at the moment, And if you'd like to share it on social media, I'll send it to you, which will be great because we need to get more people aware of it. And if any of you want to come along, you'd be welcome. I'll give you a cup of tea and I might point out local traffic problems to you because I've been here complaining about that before. Yeah. Thanks very much. I'm going to try and stop sharing my screen now.
Okay. That's wonderful. We will have some questions to ask you. Can I just mention before I ask the board for questions, May the 7th, I think, is the mother of all cleanups, organised by, So a week apart, do you think that's enough or?
I'm not sure. That's why one of the reasons why it's yet to be confirmed, because I'm just going to talk to some other people about that. Whether it's good to launch it all as one big event. Yeah. I just thought about that when I saw it. And now I'll ask people if they've got any questions. I personally want to know how far along each side of the river from Enswells Road you are going in terms of your empire. But you can tell us that in a minute. Anybody got any questions of Finn?
Yep. I do, and so does Q and Lee. Just wanting to ask if you knew much about the history of those reserves. They're not very storied names, obviously, but just like if they'd been, I mean, they obviously have some utility, but have they had other uses as well as that?
I don't think they've had other uses in the past. So they were created in the late 90s, I think, 1998. But yeah, I think they were just specifically created for those three local purposes. So esplanade access along the river, water retention to stop flooding, stuff like that. But I do know historically the drain which runs through there is actually a little spring, which was used by Mana Whenua. So that's a cool little fact.
Interesting.
Anybody else?
I'll go if I can, Carolyn.
Yes, go, Lee.
Okay, I actually bumped into Subai and Dugald on Sunday at the South Farmers Market. They had a stall about the river network, so it's just a huge success. And just thanks for your energy. I think Sue said there was 17 or 21 groups now, collective groups. And the more connections we can get with the river, and the more knowledge that we can share, the better. So good kudos to you, Finn. My question, if I can get to it, is just checking that you're really working in with they're a finite resource, but the council's park rangers, urban park rangers, just to make sure you're bringing them on the journey as well, because they'll be important to you moving forward as well. So just making sure that you are liaising with them, and if not, we can certainly connect you. So that's just my question to you, Finn.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely working with park rangers. Heidi Long, I think her name is. Yeah, she's great. Really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she knows. Yeah. I think we met it when I was in primary school once, which is kind of nice.
Heidi's has been absolutely pushed, because at one stage there's only 2, and now I think there's still only 3. So the more sparing you can be, but focused in terms of dealing with them, because they are pushed. And people complain too a lot, about, because they're living in the area and they're walking their dogs every day, as you can imagine. But it's just wonderful, I added up the groups that we've got, and we've got heaps of groups in our area, and most of them intent on planting Indigenous species as well. Anybody else got any questions for Finn?
Yep. Kia has his hand up.
Kia, thank you. Go ahead, Kia.
So, I mean, awesome stuff, right? It's really great to see, brilliant stuff. I actually was being slightly naughty here, but I'm curious to know about the traffic problems. I bike through that intersection most days, and I would love to know, I guess the problems are pretty obvious, right? You've got some pretty fast roads and some big slip lines in there. What are some fixes? What could we do to make that better? You don't have to answer now. Sure. I would love to.
Yeah, good. I'll have a think and get back to you on some detailed policy proposals if you want. I think more trees, because they have a calming effect on traffic sometimes. I'd like to see the little slip lane between Riverlaw Terrace and St Martin's Road closed off, because that's a real, people just rock it down there. And the other day was, sorry, you go.
Yeah, well, I guess one question I was thinking is like, I mean, this is a cool opportunity maybe to look at some of like that amenity stuff alongside. Just, I mean, I know we did look at closing that slip lane essentially, and I'd love to understand, I mean, you'll probably know better in terms of how many people actually use that as an access versus, and so it would be really cool to do some of that kind of placemaking stuff as part of this. If the council could maybe have a look at what we could do to support that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we could ask that question. Yeah. It may be that we could be talking to the traffic engineers about the issues that you raise, Finn. And what Kier's just said is really important. It would be great to think that we weren't just confined to the riverbank for you, if you were thinking about these issues as well. Will you let us know if there is a change of date, and will you let us know formally so that we can hop down and see you?
Absolutely. We'll do, definitely.
Anybody else want to ask Finn some questions or comment?
I may as well say something because I'm the only one that hasn't. Great work, Finn. That's about it. Because
it's so true, Finn. We can't get over the effort of the volunteers and people like you. We can't get over it. And we may be losing people in our tennis clubs, but we think that they're coming to the river and to the Indigenous trees and birds area, which is just great, whichever way people go. But it's great that they're thinking of that kind of thing. If there's anything you'd like to comment, give us a ring. The people who are actually, the people that are you are Kier and Lee and Tim, but all of us would be interested in anything that you have to say if you'd like to make personal contact with the representatives of your area. And we look forward to all that you do. And I hate to say this because we haven't got much money, but we do have a little bit of money, Finn. If you're ever thinking of planting anything, you could give us a yell. And we're very connected to Predator Free as well. The Summit Road people and traps and all that sort of thing. So, Finn, thank you. Give my love to your family. Give my love to your brother. How are they all?
They're all good. Yeah, thanks. I'll definitely tell them.
Yep, do please. And it's lovely to see your face. Thanks, Finn.
Thank you.
See you later. And the next person is Vanessa Bottomley, Centre Manager of Arvida Good Friends.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi.
Your face is familiar. Have we seen you before in any capacity? No? Okay.
I might
go
just
ahead, Vanessa.
Now, Amy was going to help me, but she might be helping our other friend get online. So let me just share my screen and see if that works.
Yep, if you can't share your screen, I can definitely share it from my end, but it looks like it's starting up. Yep.
Does that look like we're looking at the right thing?
Yes.
Yep. Okie doke. Look at that. Love it when a plan works. So firstly, thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you a little bit about Good Friends and what we've been up to over the last year. So some of you will have heard of Arvida. We're a retirement brand. We have around 35 communities around New Zealand. About 4 or 5 years ago, Arvida got to thinking about how do we help our older adults stay in their own homes for as long as they're happy to? And what we came up with was Good Friends, which is a business that has basically 3 branches. One is a living well centre, which I look after here in Addington and Christchurch. One is Good Friends Go, which is a rideshare service. And one is Care and Help at Home, which is private home help and nursing care. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what each of these things do. And I know I've got 5 minutes, so I'll be very speedy. So this is Arvida Good Friends, our Living Well Centre at 47 Whiteley Avenue. And as I say, we've been open nearly for a year, obviously with a bit of up and down with COVID, like everybody else. Taking a look inside, we've got a cafe in there, where we serve great food and great coffee. But what's really important for our community to know is that if you have a not-for-profit or a community group, we're really happy to have you come in and use our rooms, our event rooms at no charge. So we've got some event spaces. We've obviously, as you can see, we've run quite a few events in there now. This is pre-COVID. We wear our masks now, but We've got spaces in there that not-for-profit and community groups are very welcome to come in and use at no charge. Key to what we do is probably all about keeping our older adults healthy and mobile and balanced and moving. And we do that through the use of our gym here on site, that's Sue, where we've got resistance machines. We've got a couple of gym people that keep an eye on everybody. It's Ernie probably telling a story on the new step there. So we've got the gym. We've got a really lush pool where we have aquarobics and aquablast, that type of thing going on. This is what this picture might be about. We ran dog yoga.
Hang on. Just to ask you, my
Yes.
picture is still. I've got a big front cover, Choose to Live Well. I can't read the side pictures. Are you? Yes, that's
You
a
know
different
what?
picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was obviously I thought I was being clever here, but okay, so that's our centre. Let me just
Yeah.
skip that. This
Yeah.
is inside our centre. That's
Right.
an event here.
Is that out the back?
That's out the back, yeah,
Yeah.
where all the trees are. That's our cafe team. There's some food in case it wasn't, hungry enough time. Here's an event, pre-COVID event where we didn't have to wear our masks. And I guess this is the spaces that we could look at if you had a community group needing to use some space. We've got plenty here at the centre. This is looking into our gym area through here, and then into our pool where we have aquarobics and aquablast, a whole raft of programs there. We have about 17 different activities planned every week. One of them a couple of weeks ago was dog yoga. Tremendously fun. I'm pretty sure there wasn't much yoga going on, but the dogs certainly had a blast. And there was no charge for people to come along to this event. We're really looking at what can we do at the moment, especially in COVID times, to bring a little bit of joy. And so this went down a treat. We run walking groups as well. And then one of the other parts of the business I mentioned was our rideshare program. And so that's really ideal if you've got older adults that don't drive or don't want to drive. So we have a couple of drivers that are able to take people out. It relies on a membership service, but once they're members, they can either pay $20 a week and they can ride unlimited 6 days a week on these services. And the really good thing is that our drivers are not only really well licensed to drive, but they're also first aid qualified and are Avita trained. So you're not going to get dropped off at the bottom of your driveway with your groceries. And again, when we're talking about our older adults, we really want to make sure that they are able to maintain their independence. And part of that is being able to go where they want to go, when they want to go. The final part of our business is the home care and home help. So I guess everybody's only got a finite amount of energy. And if with that finite amount of energy, you want to do your gardening, if that lights you up, great, garden. But if that's a chore for you, that's something that we can help you with in terms of providing maintenance people that can come to your home. Additionally, we can also provide a level of care with registered nurses coming around to help with anything that involves the body, really, which is around showering or medical needs or dressing, changing, that type of thing. So I guess all of it, the rides, the Living Well Centre and the care and help at home is really focused on keeping people well and keeping them in their own homes and independent for as long as they want to be there. So sorry, that might have been a wee bit confusing without having the pictures in the first instance, but I hope it gives you a bit of a taste of what we've been up to over the last year. As I say, a really key point for you to know about is the free rooms for those community groups that are looking for a home. We've got Kiwanis in at the moment, and they're using the rooms from time to time. We have Age Concern running all of their driving courses up here, and there's plenty of capacity, and so that's something that we're really keen to see here and to see more of. And I guess that's probably me in the nuttiest of nutshells there.
How do your charges? Is there one flat charge, or do you add on activities, or do you take away activities, or what?
Good question. So if you wanted to access the gym and the pool and all of our activities, it's $20 a week. And once you're a member, then from there, it's easy to add on the ride share services. You just pay as you go or pay for unlimited. And it's same for care and help at home. Those are all membership-based subscriptions. So basically for $20 a week, you get really good access to all of our gym, pool and activity facilities. And that's probably the piece that keeps people really well connected and really well mobile and really moving well, which is what we're all about.
Okay. You wouldn't want to recommend it to someone who, you know, couldn't afford the charges. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody else who would like to ask some questions?
Callum has his hand up.
Callum, thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to say that before the whole COVID thing kicked off, we were, as a board, having meetings in different spots around the community, just to try and connect in with different places and spaces and, you know, groups of people where they were. So I don't know, it feels like it could be an opportunity for us maybe to discuss something to discuss after the meeting.
Yeah,
we'd love that. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Good thinking, Callum.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Just to say thank you, Vanessa, and certainly for your people-centric focus. I think that's really come across, and it's nice to see what's behind the doors. So thank you for sharing. I'll just also maybe connecting you. We've got age-friendly Spreydon-Cashmere, which we're pioneering in this community board. So just maybe connecting you and making sure that you're in our brochure of activities or available spaces. So I'll make sure that one way or another, either Amy or myself just shares the contacts. So they're just advocates for us, just giving that lens. So we'll just make sure we connect you either way. So but no, thank you for your time and really appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you.
Age Friendly is it's a project established by the Ministry of Older, what is it? A senior person? I can't remember. A government agency.
Yep.
And it was established in Spreydon because we have slightly higher than average older people than even for Christchurch, you know. So I can remember back 7 years ago, Melanie may remember better than me, Parkview sent 2 people into Addington to do questionnaires and things with the local people to find out what needs there were. And I think that was the forerunner of the agency that you're now working for. Anybody else want to ask a question?
Yep, Melanie has her hand up as well.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Mel?
sorry.
Hey, Melanie.
Hi. No, I met Vanessa before because she went to an Addington Wellbeing meeting sometime last year, and we had, or was it Evelyn? It was Evelyn Keneally from Manuka Cottage. Maybe it's something else. She talked about Arvida because the Rowley group had been and tried out all the exercise equipment and absolutely loved it. I recall. I can't remember what that was at, but
there would have been a lot of laughing.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was great to hear. So thanks Vanessa for bringing that.
Look, and we appreciate at the moment, you know, at $20 a week, it won't be for everybody yet. We're working on it. You know, we want to be more inclusive, but we're making our first strides with this demographic, and then we're hoping that we can extend that a little bit. So it's a case of get the first people in, get them to pay, and then we can work on the rest. And it's much the same as our events, right? I get corporate events in, they pay, so that my not-for-profits and my community groups don't need to. And so we sort of balance it all out. But obviously, if any of you guys wanted to pop by and have a look around, you'd be most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
I'm only just round the corner, and I'm probably the target. Anybody else? Thank you very much. I've just got a feeling that you'll be seeing more of us, and we'll be seeing more of you. Thank you very much for coming in, Vanessa. Bye-bye. And we are back to Chloe. How are we going, Chloe?
Yes, hello. We're going good, thanks. Amy, do you have the PowerPoint there?
Yep, I do. So I will share that now from my end.
Thanks heaps. Sorry you can't see me all. And it's my husband's name, Matt, there, but I'm Chloe. And I'm here to propose a footbridge, which is, I would hope to go over the Addington Railway Yards. And I've got a map there on the first screen. Can you see that all there?
Yeah.
So it's, I would just like to propose that this would be a good spot here, the circled area between Detroit Place and Bernard Street, in Addington, it would directly affect the north part of Addington, which is north of Lincoln Road. And I currently live in Kenilworth Street, which is just on the left there of the Court Theatre site. So I just want to start with a quick introduction of who I am. Can you have the next slide, Amy? My husband, Matt, and I have lived in Addington for many years, Matt for 15 years, and we absolutely love it. We've travelled all over the world, but it's one of the best places we can find. And we love Christchurch as well. There's so many things we love about Christchurch, but if we could probably pick our favourite place, it would be Hagley Park. And this footbridge would directly connect the north of Addington right into the corner of Hagley Park, which would be essentially make it our backyard and 5 to 10 minutes away for all those who live near here. Can you go to the next slide, Amy? This is my baby June. In the last 7 months, we've had a wee baby, and she's given me a whole new perspective on our area and community, because we go walking 3 times a day to get her to sleep, and we've done hundreds of walks around our area. So I'm have gained the perspective from a pedestrian of Addington north and south of Lincoln Road. It's been interesting living in the north of Addington. Can we go to the next slide, Amy? We've found traditionally we've lived around the south of Addington and Paulson Street, around Church Square, Grove Road. There's plenty of beautiful walks there. But in the north of Addington, in around Kenilworth Street, I often find myself just on Whiteley Ave or on Lincoln Road. And I do a wee loop which cuts back through the Court Theatre, and I just walk past a fence which blocks us off there from the Bernard Place to Detroit Place, Bernard Street to Detroit Place, and I just wish I could pop over to Hagley Park. So this footbridge, it would essentially cut down my walk to Hagley Park from about 25 minutes down Lincoln Road to about 10 minutes from Kenilworth Street. It would also create like a beautiful pedestrian pathway from Addington that would link into Riccarton. There's a way that you could walk there, which would go over the footbridge through Hagley Park. The very top of the screen there's a wee walkway left through Punky Brewster, and then through the back streets of Riccarton to the mall. And I just feel like it would encourage more people to walk between Addington and Riccarton. It's a tree-lined area. The other alternative at the moment really is just Whiteley Ave, which is very hot in summer and crowded with cars and not very user-friendly as a pedestrian. Can we go to the next slide, Amy? This is the site here. So as you're walking past, you can see there, it's just about 50 metres across the railway yards, and then you can connect in and you can see the park on the corner there. And the next slide, Amy. This is B18 Studios, which is right on the corner where the footbridge would connect into. This is my vision for this whole area of Addington. It's currently still rejuvenating since the earthquakes, and because it's near the railway, it could have this cool sort of industrial urban vibe with new apartments and new workplaces. But at the moment, it currently looks more like this. Can you go to the next slide, Amy? Thanks. This is Walsall Street, which connects right through to where the footbridge will be, and it's on Google Maps as a Christchurch city street, but it's really broken and gives the area the feeling of a backstreet car park, really. So that's where we're currently at, but where we'd love to be, I feel, is something more like that B18 Studios picture. And just the final slide, Amy. So that's it really. You can see again there the proposed site for the bridge, and you can see the whole area that it would directly affect. So there's Addington, the Addington Coffee Co-op side of Lincoln Road, all the houses in Leamington Street, Kenilworth area, and the Court Theatre site. Two questions that sort of have arisen as I've done the proposal is, I'm not sure if anyone knows what the plan is for the Court Theatre site once they move, and also just what's happening with Walsall Street and whether it can be fixed. It's that street that's running up to the red circle there that's still broken, but the other streets around it are all right. That's it really, but yeah, any questions? Or otherwise, I'm just really excited to see what the next steps might be.
You would be aware, I expect, of the proposals for Lincoln Road through Addington, aren't you?
Not really.
Bus lanes both ways and so on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that, and perhaps the Brom Street work that's going to happen as well with the an overbridge there.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah. It just means it makes it a little bit, perhaps a little bit more difficult to be able to concentrate the thinking on spending on something that might be really expensive. But I love the imagination. I love the idea of doing something in the back streets of Addington North, which would be a wonderful thing. I'm not even sure about Walsall Street. I think we may have to ask staff about it. Has anybody got any questions?
Yep, Callum and Melanie have their hands up.
Okay, in that order. Callum, you go first.
Sorry, this is going to be a bit of a waffly speech question. I don't know if that should be postponed to
it.
later, but I just wanted to say, Chloe, that I really, really like this idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, and it would massively improve the amenity of an area that desperately needs it. Like that section of Addington is really, I mean, it's fallen to bits really, just near the Court Theatre, and it's a real shame for the people that live there. And I know that we've talked, I guess, about how living on the north side of Lincoln Road, you do feel a little bit cut off from all of the lovely green spaces south of that road. Addington Park and Simeon Park and St Mary's Square. And if you look on the map, I remember when we did that map of the green spaces and drawing a circle around them. And if you did that for North Addington, it would probably be a bit deceptive, because even though there are green spaces physically nearby, you actually have to walk quite far and around, take long routes to get to them, and often you have to cross quite busy roads. So yeah, I think it would be an awesome thing to have in the area, and as you say, it would be great for so many different stakeholders, including residents and businesses, and even people in Riccarton or the users of Hagley Park in general. So yeah, thanks for that, Chloe.
I'm just wondering how much of that, Callum, would be railway land. I've just got a feeling that some of it is railway land.
Yeah, well, I mean, the railway, the bridge crossing, and all the railway is obviously the railway land, but I don't.
Just some of that land back there where there used to be a rubbish dump. People would dump stuff. I thought someone said to me once that was right. I don't know. It would be interesting to find out.
I remember we've had a service request for that bit of Walsall Street that is all run down, I think, and I might be remembering this wrong, but I think we got information back that it wasn't a council-owned street or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. That section of Walsall Street is privately owned, so there's not really much that the council can do to repair it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thought that too, but I'm still not sure about the railway too. I think they've got some business in there. Mel.
Look, thanks for this. I think it's absolutely innovative, actually, and I really love the idea of it too. And I was going to say what the others have said, because we've had some questions about Walsall Street, and apparently it's the information Amy sent out about it was it's a privately owned street, but it's a deceased estate, and the moment council doesn't know if that's being purchased by someone else or not. So that's sort of where that is. But and what everyone else is saying about railway land, there will be a big issue with this, but I would like to see if we could find out some information about it and what we could potentially do. But I guess with the struggles that council has with anything near railway land, an imaginative thing like this might take quite a lot of effort to achieve, but if it is ever achieved, it would be totally worth the effort. So I'm not saying don't give up, but I'm saying it probably will be quite difficult for us to do it, but I think it's worth a shot. So we should, as a board, I hope, get behind something like this.
I think we should identify the particular areas that we're looking at, and thank goodness you gave us a map. And I think we should ask staff for information about land ownership and any proposals that are in for planning, or anything that we can identify in terms of ownership. Amy, can we sort of an agreed resolution, not a resolution, sorry, an agreed couple of questions that we can ask staff about land ownership and current proposals, if there are any before the planners, in other words, any proposals before the planners?
You mean what sorts of proposals? Are you talking about any proposals to build a footbridge over that section of the railway, or proposals in the general area?
Just in the general area. Are there any proposals for any land within that circle that are already in play? And B, what land ownership do we know about it? Mm-hmm. That square of land.
Okay, so basically you want to know, so refer the issues, you can refer the issues in the presentation to staff for advice, including the land ownership of
Wassell Street and of the area, including Wassell
of the area, and I'll specify that more in the minutes.
Yeah.
And your other question was,
are there any proposals before the planners for, you know, like, is there a giant supermarket going to be built in there that we don't know about? Are there any proposals before the planners for that area?
Yeah. Okay. So, and also whether there are any pending proposals to development proposals for that area.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's before we even start thinking about the overbridge or the little railway bridge. Let's just see what the current situation is. Mm-hmm. Would that be all right? And we don't need a mover or a seconder for that, do we?
You don't, no, as long as everyone is in agreement.
Yeah. How do the rest of the board feel? Are there any questions other questions we should ask?
I mean, would that sort of include just a high level, not a feasibility study, but, you know, like some comment from staff on the prospect of a bridge?
They're probably too scared to answer that.
I think what you're suggesting, Carolyn, was perhaps to ask those first two questions, and then once that advice comes back, you know, that'll come to you at a meeting, and then if you want to, you could then ask for more specific advice on, the feasibility of a footbridge.
I don't think the staff would be in a position to blue sky a bridge. That would be way beyond their pay scale at the moment. That would be a council decision. So we're not near that, but let's see what the ownership issues are around there. I mean, for instance, is some of it railway land as well? When I went out with Ken and Sue By, we were round the back there, and they told me it was railway land. And that's why there was so much rubbish lying around. So let's just see what we're up against in the beginning. We'll come back to you with the information that we get, and that's just the start, okay?
Thank you. Thanks heaps, guys.
Okay, it's very nice
Cheers,
to
Chloe.
talk. Thank you very much for your imagination and thoughtfulness, Chloe. Given how old your baby is, it's a wonder you're not too tired to be even thinking of future things like this. But thank you very much, and we'll come back to you with the information that we've asked for and see where to from there, if that's okay. I have to say, I have to be a little bit depressing and say something like this is going to cost an awful lot of money, and the council may not feel that it's got that kind of awful lot of money, but I think that the things we should all do is dream. And if we can, and I'm very glad that you came in with your idea and your dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Deputations by appointment. There are no deputations by appointment. Has Tim arrived?
No, he hasn't arrived.
Okay,
no,
that's not like
email.
No, that's not like
messaged him to tell him how gripping it was, and that hasn't got a response either.
Okay. Presentation of petitions. There are no petitions. So we're on to the bus shelter, 131 Rose Street, and there's an enormous amount, comparatively speaking, of paperwork on this. The poor staff.
And Carol, I just wanted to note that Lee is presenting this report, but Sarah Thorne, who's the original report author, is also in attendance to answer any questions.
That's great. So I'll hand it over to you, Lee, and the resolution is on page 11. The hearing panel's recommendation is on page 11.
Okay, thanks Carolyn, thanks team. So yeah, just a bit of context. I chaired a hearings panel on the 11th of February with Councillor Coker and Chair Caroline Potter. A brief overview of the situation. It's 131 Rose Street, which is currently a bus stop within the network, and we are looking at a level of service improvement by putting a bus shelter in there and a timetable as well. So there was, just some more context, there was 5 submissions, 4 were in support, 1 was against. The speaker that was against actually came to the hearings panel and actually gave a very detailed overview. I spoke very well to the hearings panel. The main issues we traversed, or the main concerns that were I'm not going to give these verbatim, but the main concerns that we heard on the day and we traversed, they were proposing some changes to their the frontage of their home, adding a powered gate and a new pedestrian gate. So we spoke about that, and we've actually, part of the resolution is to work with staff on the optimal position of the bus stop as not to inhibit their future plans. So I think we traversed that as well as we could. There was further concerns around maintenance of both trees and their fence, and staff confirmed that the bus stop would be between 300 to 400 mil off the fence line. So although not optimal, it would still allow maintenance. I think the main one that we actually discussed to some extent was just around reduced visibility and concerns around that from both 131. But the advice we had from staff on the day that they couldn't see restricted sight lines. It is quite a slimline bus shelter, and there would be perspex sides to the bus shelter. So staff couldn't see any safety concerns for why this bus shelter wouldn't go in the position as proposed. And again, there was an agreement to work with the owner-occupiers of 131 to make sure that we're working with them in the best capacity that we could in terms of optimal positioning. So they also had concerns around patronage, but staff also confirmed that it did meet their criteria in terms of what they would be seeking from an area that needs a bus shelter as opposed to just a bus stop. So the obviously benefits, and the benefits of the shelter will offer weather protection. There'll be a timetable, and it'll also increase the legibility and visibility of public transport in that area. So I just refer you back to the resolutions, and the resolutions are for us, and I'll pass back to you, Carolyn, if I can, unless there's any questions of me and or Sarah, if they're detailed questions.
The board did ask some questions about accessibility along the footpath and disability accessibility. And do we want, sorry, who's the staff member here? Sorry. That
Hi,
was rude.
Sarah. Sarah
Hi,
Thorne.
Sarah.
Hi.
I'm so sorry for forgetting your name. It's madness. Could you
No, that's
just
okay.
Could you just please give us any comments that Lee may have missed or not included, or things that you think you'd like to say?
I think Lee pretty much summed it up. The reason why we went out and consulted on the shelter was because the school and the bus company approached us to say that we needed line marking at this bus stop. It is quite a busy area with the Cashmere School gate right opposite the bus stop, and lots of parents dropping off their kids in the morning. And at the moment, with the bus stop unmarked, the bus was having trouble to pull in parallel to the curb. So I'll be taking a report for the line marking in a fortnight. So when I did the assessment of the bus, it also met the criteria of installing a shelter there, largely because it is outside a school, and so we get a lot of school kids using that bus stop in the afternoon at around 3 to 3:30. There's about 35 of them regularly catching the bus, and then throughout the day we get sort of around 3 to 5 passengers using that bus stop during the day. I sent an email to the resident outlining the envelope of where the shelter could go, and her preference is to locate the shelter as close to the boundary line as possible, away from the entrance of her house,
which we discussed at the time. Yeah.
That's an attachment of the report, just to show the position that was discussed with the resident. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. And we thought that's where it would go at the time, didn't we, Lee? You know, when we were discussing it. How's accessibility standards going to be, Sarah?
So we will be installing some tactile pavers, and we'll be able to maintain a footpath width of 1.7.
And that will get a wheelchair past, will it?
Yes, yes.
Are there any other questions from the rest of the board? Do you have any comment as the other person on the panel, Mel?
No, I think everything's been said. Yeah.
Okay. Sarah, have you got anything else to say, or should we just put the resolution?
No, I think that wraps everything up.
Thank you. And thank you for being here too.
That's all right.
Can I have a mover, please? I think we'll have Kier. Can I have a seconder? I think we'll make it Callum. Any further questions? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, abstentions, carried. Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
All done. You can go and have a beer.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Rowley Resource Centre shed. Item number. No.
Oh, no.
No. Albert Terrace, Roscoe Street. Proposed stop. Issue number 8, page 31. Sorry about that. And the officer recommendations are at 2, 1, 2 and 3 are on page 31.
And Tony is here as well, Carolyn, to speak to the report.
Good on you. Tony, do you have anything you wanted to say about, I know it's not your area or anything, but I just wondered if you had anything you wanted to say about that bus stop?
No, I think it was all covered.
Yep. Okay, go ahead on this issue on Albert Terrace and Roscoe Street.
Okay, thank you. So this is an action coming out of the work we're doing with St Martin's School just to improve safety around their entrance. This is currently a priority uncontrolled intersection, a T intersection. So we're proposing to put stop control on Roscoe Street due to the restricted visibility and also the close proximity to the school's Kia crossing, which is located just further north. So yeah, I don't have a lot to add, but happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I thought it was fairly straightforward. Are there any questions? I can't see any hands or anything. So, Amy, is there any
No,
questions?
there aren't any hands up. No.
Okay. Okay. The resolution is on page 31. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move. Kia.
Kia. Lee, would you like to second?
Happy to second. Thank you.
Thank you. Lee seconding. Any further discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, abstentions carried. Now we're on. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for coming. Oh, no, not Sarah. This time it's Tony. So sorry,
Thank
Tony.
you.
I'm getting muddled. I haven't got faces in front of me to remind me. Thank you very much, Tony. Number
Carolyn,
9.
could I just, would you mind, not to do things out of order, but just going back to item number 7, the bus stop, on the voting on that, could you just have Kia and Callum as the mover and seconder actually verbally say that?
Happy to.
Yeah,
okay.
So that was Kia moving it.
And Callum seconding?
Happy to, yep.
Thank you.
Second.
I cannot see hands going up and I can't see what people are saying. Thank you. So is that all?
And if you wanted to just formally then put it to a vote, just so
Again,
that's all tied up.
You mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay. All those in favour,
I believe
please
it's
say
unanimous.
aye.
Yeah.
All those in favour, please say aye. Against, abstentions carried. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
So, okay. So we're up to number 9, Rowley Resource Centre Shed Project, page 37. With the resolution, with the officer recommendations at number 2 and up there. And we have Heather talking to us, is that right?
Yep. Heather just had a little bit of trouble with her internet, but I think you're back on now, Heather. Are you? Are you there, Heather?
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yep.
look, sorry. I'm dropping in and out of the internet quite frequently, and then it will keep freezing. So basically, I'll take the report as read. It's a request for funding for a new shed at the Rowley Resource Centre. The old one being full to capacity and them needing more space at the moment, so that they can store their stuff for their events and for their fine art active models and for the other activities that they're involved in. And the place where they're looking at putting the shed is as you go in through the gate on the right hand side, where it's currently has 2 compost heaps, which they have had there for use at the community gardens. So they're looking at clearing those out and placing the shed in that space, which still allows them then to keep the green space in the other shed where it is. So that's what they're looking at doing at this point in time. Thank you.
Any questions of Heather? I worry a bit about this because I think Rowley's sort of underhoused for the activities that they do. And I know there's probably no alternative given the current financial state of council and everywhere. But you just wonder when we're going to run out of housing for them in a way on this site. I think we should just note it in our heads, not formally, that we should be wondering about how we can house them in the future. I'm calling for a mover and a seconder for the resolution.
Sorry, Carl, can I just ask one question?
Yes.
If I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just, Heather, have you got any more details in terms of what they're actually getting for the 5,500, just in terms of either a provisional design or a spatially? Is there any more detail you've got in terms of what we can achieve for them for that money?
Heather's gone.
Are you still there, Heather?
She's muted.
Okay, maybe if Heather can just come back to the board in due time if she's unable to reconnect. Yeah.
Yep.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Sorry. Sorry. Technology. Look, it's a shed Lee, that's already, it's from, I think it was either from Bunnings or from, I don't know, Mighty 10, I'm not entirely sure. I do have a picture of the shed as in the part of the information that came in with the funding application, and basically it covers, the amount covers the shed, the delivery of the shed, and some material money for installation of the shed. I can't show you the shed at the moment, and I don't have any diameters in the information that they sent me, but it looks like it's sorry, yeah, it's. I think it's a metal shed, not a wooden shed, by the looks of it. But I'm not entirely sure. But I can get that information to you. I just can't get it to you right now. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. That's fine. Thank you.
You don't want to delay the resolution, Lee? You're quite happy?
No, I think I shared maybe some of your concerns, whether we're better looking at a long-term view than a short-term view, but I think we need to meet the immediate need regardless. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mind you, they could probably do with some of your skills. You could go down there with a hammer.
I don't think they want my skills, Carolyn, seriously.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Callum. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Oh, good, Mel. Thank you.
I think Kia was there. I think Kia was there second, I think.
Oh, was he? Was he ahead?
I'll let Mel have this one.
Yeah, okay, Mel. No, it's Mel's time, just a star. Any further questions or statements? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, abstentions,
aye.
Carried. Thank you. Now we're up to elected member. I never introduced you guys to, yes, we did. Elected members exchange, and I'm going to start with the only face that appears almost constantly, and that's Lee. I've got you in front of me, Lee.
I probably talk too much. That's probably why. Hey, I've just a couple of items. Is it possible for me to? There's a memorial stone from Centennial Hall that staff contacted me and Carolyn earlier this week, and I think it's a little bit of a time sensitive one because obviously what's happening at Centennial Hall. It's been suggested that it moves to Pioneer, and I have got a photo of if I'm allowed to share a screen. I've got a photo of the position. I just wanted to. It's time sensitive, but I just wanted to really seek validation. If I can, of the position.
You should be able to share your screen. Can you see the share screen button?
Yep, I'll just press that now.
Okay.
We can only see Danielle.
There we go. Yep, you're sharing your screen.
Okay, which is
a Zoom screen, I think. Now it's your iPad home screen. There we go. Yep,
there we are.
Photo.
Okay, so sorry team, thanks for bearing with me. So the position of the memorial stone would be close to the Pioneer sign. So I'm just checking that there's nothing in principle that anybody thinks is against that position. We thought that had reasonable pedestrian traffic, so both Carolyn and I thought that would be a good spot for it, essentially. So just seeking some validation, if I can, that there's no exception to that.
We went. There were 3 suggested by the staff. And this was the one that was the most prominent and available to the community. The other one was further, both of the others were at more obscure places. So we thought this was the most prominent one. Is there any problem with us doing an informal recommendation because this isn't a formal resolution or anything, is there anything wrong with us saying informally to the staff, we think this is a good spot? It was one of the spots they suggested to us.
Yep. Well, is there any exception?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, team.
Thank you very much.
Just one more, if I can. I think it was the evening of the last board meeting. I went to the Port Hills Trust. A really good meeting. We had an outdoor meeting because of COVID. It was a little bit cold. It was about it was early evening, but we sat out at the end of Mount Albert Terrace. There's good energy in the Port Hills Trust. They're just refreshing their management plan, and they've got some really ambitious planting plans as well. So I look forward to being able to share their activities over the next few months. But there's good energy. They've refreshed their website, and in terms of their chair is is Alan's doing an amazing job from what I can see. So outwardly looking in. So just kudos to that team there and the work that they're doing. Keep on going with a good fight. So I've been impressed, is what I'm saying.
Okay, next person would be Melanie.
Hey, so I've got a few different things. Last Wednesday, the Hoonhay Network meeting happened and was chaired, I guess, by Evelyn, and there was a reasonable number of people there. I did get there late and had to leave early, but it was good to see everyone there, so that was good. On the same day as well, there's people who live on Hoonhay Road who their property backs onto the Apauaho and Centennial Park, and they have the eucalyptus gum trees, if you know them, along the pathway there, sort of between the playground and the volleyball pit, and those trees drop a lot of leaves and they're worried about branches falling and things like that. So I've asked for some feedback on that, but they loved living there and they've been living there for 30 years. And the thing that was probably most interesting to me was their comment about why they love living there. And that was partly because one boundary is along the river, so they haven't got neighbours there. And then the other boundary, they're actually next to 211 Hoonhay Road, and it has the old scout den there, and it's a reserve. And so I said to Amy about it, and I wanted to find out some more information about it because City Care apparently look after it, and just to find out who actually owns it. Yeah, so it was interesting. Amy looks like she's frozen, I don't know, but yeah, so that was interesting because we have talked about it before, but I don't think the scouts are in there. So it would be good to find out more information.
Yep, I haven't found out anything yet, Melanie, but I will. Yep. I will let you know.
Yeah, no, great.
Thank you.
Yep, and then, sorry, there's another couple of things. Sorry. The other one is just one was about the youth committee, Te Pai Pakari, which in Galloway has sort of set up with various youth from the Youth Council and from Pilot, the Pacific Youth, can't remember all the words it stands for, but what's interesting, and that sort of, you know, stem back from when we were looking at a youth community board quite a while back. But the interesting thing that's coming out of that is they're looking at a youth space on Ecan land at the back of the building in town. So I thought that was just interesting because they're sort of trying to make a bit of headway there and have a space for youth after they're losing the one where the stadium will be going. So just to keep you updated on that. And then the last thing I thought I'd bring up was about the meeting on Thursday and the things that are happening around housing densification, and council staff are bringing along areas of the city, I guess, that could have exemptions around or have be qualifying matters, I guess, where greater housing density might not occur, well, where they'd recommend it doesn't occur for a whole range of reasons like character areas and ability to manage drainage and things like that, which you've probably read about in the news anyway. But yeah, so that's all.
You're on mute, Carolyn.
Oh, you're on mute, Carolyn.
It was because of the dog. I tried not to have him barking at you. I just hope we don't have a greater division than's going to happen between the people who have got and the people who haven't got. That's all. It's a real worry. But anyway, it can't be helped because we all support intensive housing.
Do we have a chance to express a view on that as a board?
Well, we do. I expect we. Well, yes. Is that right, Mel? Is there going to be any avenue for the board to be able to say something about these things?
I think that's going out for people to have their say on, but I don't know the answer to your question, actually.
I think there will be. Yeah, like Melanie just said, it's gonna there'll be a decision on Thursday about the content to consult on, and I think it's supposed to go live for consultation then later on Thursday. So I'll email that around once it goes live, and then yeah, as with any council proposal, you should have the opportunity to submit on that if you want. So we could set up a time to talk about that.
That would be great, Amy. And perhaps if we could have, even if we could have a staff member who could be willing to summarise the issues at hand so that we could be informed as well. But that's a good point, and we will make sure that we can do that. Is that all right, Callum?
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay. Callum, would you like to be next?
I don't really have anything for Members Exchange this time, Caroline.
You sound tired. You sound tired. We haven't got Tim, so the other person is Keir.
Just to let the board know, I was contacted by a resident, Mary Ellis, of the 19th Battalion and Armoured Regiment Guardians, just regarding the service up at Victoria Park. Slightly unfortunate, I think, that it kind of bounced around a wee bit inside council before anyone got back to her. But Amy, I think, responded really well to that one. But just to kind of, obviously, they're not going to be holding a service this year, which I think is, a sensible decision in light of everything. But probably just worth marking that it's a bit of a shame that we can't acknowledge that. I know it is a really good. I know it's a really good little event up there that in a lovely location to kind of take a moment and remember.
Yep. Thank you, Keir. Is that it? Okay. I've just got a few things. I had a neighbour over the Spreydon Domain who had, and he's on the other side of the creek in the Spreydon Domain, and he climbed over carrying a chainsaw and to chop up a branch that has been down for 3 weeks. And this Spreydon, as you know, I've talked to staff on several occasions about the number of branches that fall because of these trees. And he had a chainsaw, so he chopped himself up some wood because no one else was taking it away. But he had major concerns about the 2 poplars in front of him, and he thought that if they fell, they'd fall on his house. So I've again asked staff to come and discuss the trees and the branches of the Spreydon Domain. And Jonathan is coming down in April, and they're going to sort out some of these trees, and I hope to have the neighbour there so he can talk to them about the ones that worry him. Ross Gray of the Heritage Trust rang me about Centennial. He is, like a lot of people, upset about the number of buildings that are just being pulled down, not even discussing the Ning building. Is that how you say it? Anyway, it was Ross Gray who also brought to my attention the rock again, because Amy had raised it with me and so had the staff. And that's another reason why Lee and I went out and had a look at the rock, which we placed in that appropriate place. Alice rang from Ernley Reserve, rang me about the issue around that tree poisoning again, and she has another story about that, including the fact that they told the complainant all those years ago that they were doing it. So if anybody wants to talk to me about that, I'd be glad to hear. I'd be glad to talk to them. I was on a Zoom for Parakiori, I hesitate to say it because of my terrible pronunciation, which is the new sports stadium. And the big reason for it was that Christchurch City Council is going to be one of what turns out to be quite a few towns signing up to a Changing Places in that new building, 2 of them, which will meet all the disability requirements for helping someone who is seriously disabled to be able to enjoy the facilities available at that building. I can talk to anybody who wants about that, but it was incredibly heartening that Christchurch City Council, after all these years, is really moving on this issue in terms of making that building disabled friendly. I had a phone call today from Mark from George V Reserve, who again discussed the change of name, but he's quite happy, but he also wants to be reminded about the Māori names as a possibility for the George V Reserve. And the last thing, and Vance rang me about the rock. He said if nobody else wanted it, the Centennial Hall rock, his mother would love it because she used to see it on her way to school. And he was thrilled to hear it was being looked after and placed in an appropriate place. And the last thing I'm raising is that, believe it or not, Mel, the supermarket is going to be built in the corner of Littleton Street and Lincoln Road, and it's going to have 95 car parks, so it sounds as though some may be underground. And I heard all sorts of information about it, and apparently a sign's gone up as well. Did you know that?
I did not. How did you find that out, Carolyn?
No idea.
And this is...
Reveal your source.
I know. My source happens to be a local person walking her dog who has been nagging me about the car park for years, and I can't even remember her name. She told me this morning. And it's going to be called Addington New World, not Spreydon. The snobs.
Shocking.
Yes.
Shocking.
Expand the empire.
Outrageous.
Empire is going to take over poor Spreydon. Yeah, it's going to be.
Send it to the Geographic Board, Carolyn.
Pardon?
Take the Trades Description Acts.
I'm furious about it. I feel like going up there and doing some painting on the
Truth
side.
and advertising.
It's infuriating. Is there anything else anybody wants to say? Okay, Mel.
Takuna te wairua kia rere ki te taumata, ko te matatika te matapono hei arahi I ngā mahi, ka aratahi te tira kia ike panuku kia iki tangaroa, humie huie ta ikie.
Okay.
Kia ora, thank you all very much. It's been great to see you. And I'm going to text, unless somebody else has, I'm going to text him and see if he's okay. Is everybody all right? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you, Amy.